right, welcome, Buddy Book Club. I'm Dylan, here with one of three men I want to watch me sleep. Keith, what's up, buddy?
Who are the other two?
Can't talk about that here.
Oh, okay.
Well, here at the Buddy Book Club, we're working down some bestsellers, and or box office bangers. This week, we'll be discussing 2026's Project Hail Mary, the movie, starring Ryan Gosling, two directors, Phil Lord, Christopher Miller. It's an emergency pod. Sound the alarm. It's an emergency pod. We had done Project Hail Mary.
If you had to guess what episode number it was,
I would say, how many have we done? Like 130?
139?
I would say it was like 50.
All right, 23. I thought we did it
23?
Yeah, I thought we did it at episode like 95. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't realize we read it that long ago.
Yeah, holy smokes. That's an OG ep.
Yeah.
So we've done Project Hail Mary from Andy Weir. We did The Martian. We did Artemis. Terrible. Do not read that book. My God, was that bad. And we like Andy Weir.
I was nervous about the moon trips called Artemis after the book.
I know, so was I. Someone said Artemis, and I was like, that stupid book? They were like, no, people are going to the moon, you idiot.
The space mission? It's like, yeah, that's a disaster. That's bad.
Yeah, I was very confused, but whatever. I didn't even finish my spiel. If you'd like to recommend a book or a movie for us to read or watch, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, or slide into our DMs on X or Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast. Listen to us wherever you get podcasts. Please download, subscribe, 5-star reviews. We just figured we wanted to pull up and do a quick ep, considering we had read the book and the movie came out. We'll stick with our standard format, but I think we'll probably just end up chatting about it. Yeah, stock up. What do you got?
Stock up Ryan Gosling. I mean, similar to The Martian, this movie was going to rely heavily on one actor along with one alien, but I mean, Gosling delivered. I got to give him his props here. I mean, the most unbelievable part of this movie is that Ryan Gosling's character is lonely and doesn't have friends or doesn't have girls banging down his door to get to talk to him. I mean, the dude's smart. He's funny. He's well-spoken. He's incredibly attractive. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. I didn't have dreams about him after. He's doing these cool experiments left and right. Even when it's revealed he's like a coward, quote-unquote, which I felt in the book was way worse. The book was just like, this guy's a terrible person. And in the movie, you're just like, I kind of understand it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's more of a self-confidence thing, and like he's like, I'm not the hero, like in the story, you know, I can't do this, and that's why he's like, quote unquote, the coward. But you feel bad for him there. You're not like, what a pussy, you know. In the book, you're like, this guy's kind of the worst when he like turns it down because he's basically like their only hope, and you're like, oh man, this guy's not really helping out the team. Mm-hmm. And this in the movie, even then, I'm like, I kind of side with him. So great job by him. Not exactly the same character, I would say, as the book, and that's probably a good thing. Yeah, in the movie, and honestly, I don't remember so much of the book. Some of it came back to me as I was watching the movie, obviously, but I read my notes from the book. Good for you. The movie portrays him as a very relatable hero. You know, he's obviously much different than all of us, but in the mindset of if someone said, hey, you have to go on this space mission to save the world, you're our only hope, instead of the typical Star Wars saga or whatnot, I'd be like, I gotta take lorazepam or something if I'm going to get on a flight for more than an hour. There is no way I am getting on that spaceship. I don't care who's going to die. You know, that's my mindset. So I could relate to that. Well, the coma thing I wouldn't mind, actually. You're just like, hey, we're going to put you in a coma so you don't have to lift off, you don't have to do any of that stuff, and all of a sudden you'll be in space? All right, that's better than the alternative. So yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I guess so. But he was definitely relatable as the hero, and I liked him a lot in this movie. I mean, my first stock up was Dumb and Dumber, because another great film, maybe the best comedy of all time. Yeah, that's a good stock up. Because it's a cardigan, thanks for noticing, if you remember that scene. That was my stock up. You could literally say any line in that movie, and everyone would know it. You know? I hope so. But I said something from Dumb and Dumber on a call the other day, and it was crickets. That's rough. What was the age range? The age range was 50 to 22. So it was really, I got everyone in there. I could get if the 22-year-old wasn't on board, but the 50-year-old. And it was crickets. So I was like, Dumb and Dumber. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. Haven't seen it. I got some haven't seen it's, which was shocking. And then this company is going downhill fast. You told me that they hadn't been reading Harry Potter either. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. What's going on? I also got some, in Keith fashion, I got some, I didn't care for it.
which was shocking.
Oh, you say that I didn't care for it when it makes sense. You don't say it for Dumb and Dumber. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but you say it for like The Godfather, which is, shameful. But the cardigan thing. Did you notice the cardigan he was wearing throughout the film?
No, maybe I'll take a look at a picture.
It's like a sweater or whatever. It's probably, I don't even think it's a cardigan. Maybe it is a cardigan. I don't know. But it was awesome. I just loved it. It was great wardrobe piece.
Okay.
I think it fit him quite nicely. Overall, Gosling's look in this movie, maybe his best. The hair, Gosling hair, top notch. That is his best. But I was just trying to
be a Gosling suck fest the whole time.
I was trying to think about what his hottest movie was. Like, what movie does he look the hottest? And obviously, to each their own zone. So I can understand that someone would have different feelings. But I was thinking Drive has got to be up there. It's got the good vibe for Drive. Some people might like a little bit more rugged Place Beyond the Pines type look for Gosling. Couple face tattoos, why not? Cradle Robbers, potentially Remember the Titans.
Epstein left people would like that one. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, that was really my top three. But this was number one for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I do like how they're like, look how silly he is. His glasses are slightly askew. And, this guy's like a 10 out of 10. I don't think you can really make him look bad looking. It's like not another teen movie or whatever it was. The artsy girl, she's ugly as anyone here, and she just has glasses on.
Well, that comes from She's All That. But it's the same trope.
They're making fun of it.
They're making fun of She's All That.
Yeah. And you can look it up. Project Hail Mary 2026 Ryan Gosling Wolf Cardigan, $98 on Paragon Jackets.
Done.
So
done. $98.
Yeah, that's giving it away.
Yeah. Honestly, all of the clothes that he wears in this movie were great. He's got tons of super fun t-shirts on and the movie was going so fast, and I wasn't like I was sitting there taking notes or anything like that, because that'd be wild. I was just trying to enjoy myself for the first time seeing a movie in 3 years. But he had science pun type shirts, and he was basically kidnapped and put on this spaceship. But he's got all of these clothes that fit him. So, I assume they're his clothes.
That's what I was wondering too. Were they just packed up all this stuff and
threw
it in there?
Yeah, but at the same time, you always hear with these space missions that weight is super important, and people can bring one thing from home. So how many shirts is he allowed? And then you're the guy who is the guy who is his buddy, throughout the movie, who's the Carl, who's the pastry chef from...
Oh, the Bear?
The Bear. Yeah, he's the pastry chef from The Bear. Loved him in The Bear. Thought he was great in this movie, for sure. He killed that role, whatever. It was obviously not a big role, but he killed it. So it's Carl's going in and packing his stuff and just being like, yeah, that's, I'm going to give you all of your punny shirts. But they were great. So
he got him. Yeah. I liked it.
Costume department stock up there, I guess, as well, because they did a good job. What else you got for stock up?
Karaoke stock up. In the book, we get Ava, who's the character that I remember thinking was my favorite character, because she was so no nonsense. It was to the point that it was funny. The computer, she was like, that doesn't compute. I thought she would talk in the book and whatnot.
Yeah, she was kind of like a science version of Irene Kennedy from our Mitch Rapp series, I felt like.
Yeah, although Irene, I feel like as we started reading more of the books, we were like, oh, wait, she's kind of gets a little weird at some of those books. But yeah, I agree. She's down to business, where I wear short hair trope thing. That's like, if any girl has short hair or has hair in a ponytail, she's trying to be business-like. That's what Hollywood does. It's kind of like putting glasses askew on someone, and they're like, look at that fucking nerd.
Well, that's what they did in the movie Night of the Two Movies. They just took her glasses off and took her ponytail out, and they're like, there we go, exactly. She's here. There you go. So, look how hot you are.
But at one point in the book, she tells Ryland, I like you, I just don't respect you, which I thought was hilarious.
Gonna use that line for some people?
I mean, that's the meanest thing you could possibly say about anyone. That's just you're a cute person, but you're just an awful, human being. You're not worth it.
Well, there's a few people I could think about saying that too.
Oh, wow. But, that's her kind of character in the book, but you give her one song in this movie here, the Harry Styles song, which I didn't realize was Harry Styles. Pretty good song.
Great. I didn't know it was Harry Styles either. She crushed it.
Yeah, you really humanize her really quickly, and she becomes all of a sudden likable, and she just has to be this way because she's forced into this position, but really it's kind of like the Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. He's like, I'm a school teacher back at home, but you think he's a hard ass, and he's doing all these things that none of the troops want, but he's like, no, I don't want to do this, but I have to. It's almost like Ryan Gosling is a little bit of a love interest there too, which is kind of interesting.
You thought so?
The karaoke part was a little bit too long. I was like I was like, there was like a 3-minute close up of her face singing and then his face singing, and I was like, can we do some B-roll here about anything else other than this? Like, you can keep singing and have other things going on. Like, I don't want to just see their faces for 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. I also would have said "It's the End of the World" by R.E.M. would have been a good appropriate song for her to sing also, but she went for something a little bit less morose.
Yeah, it might have gone a little too long. We watched Mad Men recently. We'd never seen it, and there's I guess, I don't know, it must be famous scene out of that whole series where Don Draper's wife sings him karaoke or something at her birthday, and it's so uncomfortable. It's like, this scene has to end. It's so uncomfortable. But yeah, I didn't feel like there was necessarily a love interest. I think she liked how human he was, just in all of the things that she couldn't express that she was probably feeling, he was allowed to, and she was kind of forced into, and maybe it's part of her personality too, but of a ends justify the means kind of mindset, where I don't care if I'm going to kidnap you and throw you on this ship. Someone's got to go save the world. You're the only person that can do it. They did kind of cut some of the detail from the book around that, from what I remember, where it was the whole coma thing that they put them into was way more dangerous than they let on in the movie. And you had to have a certain gene moniker or something to like be able to do it, and he happened to have that gene, so there really wasn't anyone else. It wasn't necessarily like, oh well, we're about to launch tomorrow and you're the only person on this base and you know the whole flight plan, which it makes sense. I'm totally fine. I thought in general, book to movie, from what I remember of the book, was well done. Yes, tons of stuff made the cutting room floor. If I had any sort of issue with it, it would have, and like maybe it's a hate that will just burn, but it would be, there was way more science stuff in the book that they flattened into the movie, which of course they're going to have to do. But I think some of it got lost in translation, or it just ended up getting one line that was much more complicated, and it didn't translate well, where I was like, wait, how does that work? How did you do that whole thing? What are we talking about here? I saw it with the wife, and she agreed that some of the reasoning behind what they were doing maybe wasn't super clear, where in the book it was extremely clear, because they spent, it's Andy Weir, so he went deep into the actual science stuff. So
I thought they did a pretty good job of, realistically, all you need to know is astrophage is bad and it's hurting the sun. Like, you don't need to give me 50 pages on what astrophage's chemical breakup is and how it like reacts to, I'm like, I don't give a like, that doesn't matter to me. I can see the argument being like, well, then you miss kind of the core component of the book. But at the same time, the point of the movie is like the action stuff and everything that's going on, I don't even care about. It's really the relationship between him and Rocky, how communication is built between two people that don't know how to communicate, how you solve problems. Like, that's the core of the movie in my mind.
Does that ever miss in a movie when it's two people that don't know how to communicate, that are trying to figure it out one way or another? I feel like that is always something I'm there for. Mm-hmm. It's always a scene that I'm excited to see. It could be something as simple as The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. It's an extremely underrated movie, in my opinion, where they're just sitting around a fire and he doesn't speak Arabic or whatever. No, he speaks Arabic. He doesn't speak whatever Viking language they're talking. And slowly through people talking, the language transitions into English. So it's like him learning over time is just kind of broken down to one quick second, which I liked. But this, and once again in the book, it's a lot more, but I think they did a really good job with them learning each other's language. The one part that I didn't really get is when Ryan Gosling was talking, it never really like turned into Iridian. I think that's the name of the people. Like, it never turned into Iridian language. It was never like when Rocky talked, it would come in as English, so we would hear it. But then when Ryan Gosling talked, we never heard this sound go to Rocky so that he could understand it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought maybe that Rocky just was quicker or smarter in terms of learning languages. Maybe in the book, like, beep out like the things, but I think they're just like, that's gonna be redundant.
And I mean, it makes a lot of sense that we don't need that. I'm not necessarily hating on it. I don't need every time Ryan Gosling talks for it to be like, you know.
Also, like the last scene you see, he doesn't have the program; it's just beeping, and he understands what they're saying, and then he's speaking back to Rocky, and Rocky understands what he's saying. It's probably because he couldn't speak in beeps. You know what I mean? Like, he probably needed certain vocal cords in order to do that.
Genre fluidity, I think, is a stock up here. Kind of like you said, what you were interested in the story was the relationship between Grace, that's his name, yeah, Ryland Grace, and Rocky. That's 100% accurate. It's sold as a sci-fi movie, and people are somehow kind of comparing it to Interstellar or Arrival, which it's not. It's not those movies. I can see how you're drawing those lines, but this is a buddy comedy. It just happens to be in space. The whole plot is kind of doesn't matter, because not the only part, but the most interesting part was just the relationship between the two of them. And I think they nailed it. Not only do you feel their affection for each other, but you care about Rocky. You know, when he dies, I don't know, like 3 times you think he's going to die, but when he's in his thing and he's like, you know, I'll watch you sleep, just remember to wake up or whatever. It was like, oh my God, it got me. It got, you know, it's like, shit, is someone blowing smoke in my eye or what's going on over here? Because I'm feeling something. So yeah, I just thought in terms of like a genre, it's funny that this is, I mean, it is obviously a sci-fi movie, but it really, at the core is a buddy comedy. Yeah, agreed. Buddy comedy.
Agreed. I had actually one more too, actually. I was going to have it as stock down. AT&T girl stock up? Milana Alexandrova Vintrub.
Milana
Great accent.
Vintrub.
Like her in the movie. Need more of her. That's it. That's the whole stock. Buy it. Put her in every movie.
It's funny because my stock up would have been having a good agent, because whoever her agent was, props to them for getting her this role, which was really a nothing part. I think she had 2 lines in the whole movie.
Both in Russian accent, which we love. Yeah.
Is that what it was? I was so unclear at what accent she was trying that when she opened her mouth, I was gone from the movie. Completely transported out from the thrill ride I was on. I was like, what?
I think her 2 lines were like, I am the scientist. And then the second line was, we're going to kill each other when we get up there. Or we're going to commit suicide when we're up there. That was like the 2 lines. Yeah,
I like how you did the first one in like an Irish accent. But
they're soft.
But yeah, it seemed like it was totally unnecessary to have her do the accent.
How dare you?
It was like Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, which is one of my favorite movies, but it was as bad as the accent that he was trying for on and off in there. Terrible. He's
probably Russian. Her name is Russian, so
it was a terrible accent.
You use Bekistanian. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I know her from Love, the the Netflix show. She was what's his name? Gus's first girlfriend. So she was good. She was good in that. Now she made tons of money in those AT&T commercials, busting out of blouses. But yeah, I thought it was just a nothing part that she managed to not do very well, in my opinion.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
You can have your own thoughts. That's the best part about it. What about stock downs?
Stock down, the metric system. So in this movie, huge explosion caused by someone, likely a European scientist, you can't trust them, measuring out 1 milligram of astrophage instead of 1 nanogram. And that caused like the big eruption, killed all the scientists that were supposed to go. I mean, the metric system, everyone says it's so great because it uses units based out of 100 and it's easy to understand and all that stuff. And people then shit on our system. What's our system called?
Imperial or empiric?
Yeah, because it's arbitrary numbers made up of inches and Fahrenheit and pounds and all these things that don't make any sense. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, D-Man. No one would confuse 1 ounce with 1 pound, or 1 pound with 1 stone, or a ton, or baker's dozen, or whatever the fuck we use for weights. because none of them make any sense. So that's why you stick with random weight measurements, because you're not going to move the decimal point one place and fuck up the whole thing.
It's an interesting point. Ours is so confusing that you have to go back and double check.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, wait, did they say dozen or baker's dozen? Because, so you have to go double check, where the metric system is so simple that it allows for more errors. That is a hot take. That is a hot take, but I'll
it's like
allow
the
for
keyboard. You know how they make the keyboard so it's
like
anatomically,
like the
is that what
QWERTY,
it's called?
the QWERTY system.
So they made the keyboard so you had to slow down your typing, because the typewriter, when it was first created, you couldn't type fast, so they needed to slow people down. So that's why all the letters are all weird.
That's why like a keyboard on a computer.
Yes, the letters are spaced in a way that would slow you down typing. So that's why you'll see people like change the letters, because they're like, it's the slower version. Because typewriters, it would jam if you type too quickly.
Wait, I thought
I could be completely making this up also, but I've heard this.
I thought the QWERTY system or whatever was basically to put your fingers in a place to use the most common, like where the most common letters are all around your fingers. But I mean, now looking at it, it's right in front of me. Like J is right there. I'm never writing J. J's never on that list.
Oh,
so,
all right. The standard keyboard letter is following the QWERTY layout designed in the 1870s by Christopher Stolz to prevent mechanical typewriters' arms from jamming by scattering frequently used letter pairs. So yeah, it was to slow people down.
If someone told me, like in an interview, that they were like, oh yeah, I rearranged the letters on my computer so I could type faster, I'd just hire them. Didn't even matter if they knew what the job was or anything. I'd be like, yeah, you're hired.
Well, wait, the only problem with that is, like, if you have to use someone else's computer for the day, you're completely fucked.
When has that ever happened?
It's kind of like how I, at home, use a squatty potty, and then when I don't have it on the road, I'm fucked. You're constipated for days, kid. Think about it. That's exactly a perfect analogy, by the way.
You're like at a Airbnb, and you're grabbing every John Grisham book in the living room, being like, taking them into the bathroom. They're like, oh, you're going to do a lot of reading. It's like, no, I'm just building my own squatty potty because I'm trying not to get hemorrhoids here.
So those people are rearranging. They're taking the keyboard letters out and moving them around. So, yeah.
Good to know. I'm learning new things here. That's great. My first stock down is ripping off Austin Powers, stock down. Did you notice I think it was the first line of the movie. Did you notice what Ryan Gosling said when he was coming out of his coma?
Something to do with the freezing.
Pretty much. He said, where am I?
Can't control the volume of my voice.
No, he said, where am I? And I wanted to like get up and stand up and go, you're in the Ministry of Defense. But yeah, I thought it was he was waking up from a coma, which was really just like Austin Powers coming out of his unfreezing process. And I thought it was a direct steal from our friend Mike Myers, and I didn't appreciate it. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was a homage, as the French Canadians like to say.
Well, I would have liked to think that, but then we really needed a pee sequence right after when he's going around. I didn't care about seeing all the dead bodies and him figuring out that he's in a space station and dragging his like tubes and stuff around with him. But they did really set the tone there, which I appreciated, with the robot, like the medical robot or whatever it is that's chasing him around the whole time. I thought that was it was good fun with them being like, you have to stay on the table, and he just like rolls off like, oh. It set the tone for what we were in for. We're in for a thrill ride that's gonna have some good laughs to it. So yeah, I appreciate it. When you went you went with the wife there, the SGF? Mm-hmm. Were there laughs in the theater?
Yeah, I think there was a few chuckles. I don't think there was uproarious, and I don't think that the theater was also like not, it was half full, as most theaters are these days.
Yeah. Was there clapping at the end of the movie?
I can't remember. I think there's a few claps. How about you?
A lot of laughs, actually. I was kind of surprised. There's one woman, bottom left woman, whoever you were, she thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's when you notice the laughs, is when one person's just over laughing and you're like, I guess this is funny, or this person's just annoying as shit. One of the two.
Yeah, so I typically a cynic or that kind of person. I was like, I want to be that person who's just sitting there having the time of their life in this packed theater. Like, I'd be a little, even if I did chuckle at something, I couldn't laugh like that. I'd be like, oh, everyone's hearing me laugh. I can't be that person. But she was just having a good time. So, but yeah, I was surprised at the amount of laughs. Obviously, I was waiting for the fist my bump. As a reader of the book, I was waiting for it, and when it came, it came. People really liked that.
I was a little bit disappointed when I think it was such an easy layup when he finally recovers. Either one or 2 points when he finally recovers, or when he comes back for him, Rocky. He comes back after to not say "fist my bump back." Why didn't Ryan Gosling not say that to him? You know what I mean? Like that was such an easy layup, and he didn't. I was waiting for it, the full circle, but it didn't come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm upset about that a little bit.
It might have came. Yeah, got it. Any other stock downs for you?
Last one is just book was better than the movie, folks. Stock down. I mean, half the reason I read books is so I can say that and look down on the peasants that don't read the books that I've read, and then watch the. And I say, oh, you watched the movie instead of reading first? That's cute. I know all the background of this book. But I think, similar to the Martian movie was better than the book, and I thought this movie was better than the book also. So I will say, unfortunately, I can't use that as an excuse for this. I'll still say it to people, but I don't believe it full-heartedly.
Well, you're going to have to come here and fight Caroline, because she, as I was about to get on the pod, she was like, I really wish I read the book, because I would have understood the movie more.
Well, yeah, you talk down to her and say, yeah, you didn't read the book? What are you, an idiot? Like, come on. So you still do that, but then once I read it, you're like, yeah, I wouldn't have read it. That was dumb.
It is funny how, maybe it comes off as being a dick, but I'm generally just interested, is anytime someone's like, oh, I saw that movie. I'm like, oh, did you read the book? Because I really just want to know, oh, did you read the book too? But really, I'm sure they're thinking, fuck this guy.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. My last stock down, and it's a low one. It's a low stock down, is the runtime. 2 hours and 32 minutes. It just was a little bit long for me. A little bit long. And I say that because I also wasn't sure how they were going to end it. I remembered, as the movie was going, I kind of remembered how the book ended. And I thought they might end it when he and Rocky split up. I was like, because it didn't seem like there was that much time left, but then I realized it was a 2 hour and 32 minute movie. So, because I was like, oh, kind of everything's good here. Like, they could just go back and it could be the Hollywood story. But then they squeezed in him going back to save Rocky. And then once again, I was like, oh, it could just end here and leave the viewer trying to, come up in their own mind as to whether Ryan Gosling ever made it back or what happened next. But they went the full way with him, going to Irid or whatever, Irid, and teaching the kids and stuff, which I liked all that stuff from the book. I just thought it wasn't even necessarily like it was paced, like it was dragging. It was just a long movie, and I like movies to be 2 hours. That's just how I like it. Not that, unless it's like Lord of the Rings, then it's give me 6.
Get the extended version, of course.
But we went to see a 7:30 movie, and then we got home at like 10:30. I was like, Jesus Christ. Did you find the runtime to be okay for you?
Yeah, it was fine. I think there's definitely could have been parts that were cut up a little bit or slowed down. I actually thought the action sequences, I think I mentioned it already, I've kind of already seen every possible space and action. It's like, so like when he's outside the ship struggling, yeah, it's cool, but I've seen every version of this already. It didn't really entice me that much. So like that stuff I thought was almost too long.
Oh, interesting. I didn't necessarily think that stuff was too long. What I thought was too short, for sure, were the wide shot space scenes. So we'll get into like favorite scene. Did you have a favorite scene?
I mean, either one, him coming back for Rocky or Rocky recovering, both of those, I think that, because again, the whole movie is like the relationship part. Those were like when, a little tear coming to the eye a little bit type stuff there. It did remind me, and I had this as my loves, it really reminded me of E.T. a little bit.
Definitely.
I haven't seen E.T. in forever, but like it had that same vibe where the problem with like a movie like Transformers is I don't give a shit at all about the Transformers. They're not humanized in any way. They're just fucking robots that fight. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But this is like a real rock that's come to life. That's a real the same thing with E.T. It's a real alien that has feelings, that is a real person. So you start to like that connection and relationship, and that's kind of where those like peaks and valleys occur, and that's where it solidifies that. So that was my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, before I get into my favorite scene, I want to burn a love here because it ties to what you were saying. The mix of what they did with CGI and practical effects here, because obviously a lot of the space stuff, I mean, it's all CGI. It's not like they went to Petrovia or something like that. But with Rocky, they went old school and made him a puppet, which was awesome. I thought it tied into his humanization, the fact that he was tangible, and it could have been so easily done with CGI, but to make him a puppet and like seem so real, it made him more real. So I like how it's so easy now to just like put everything in CGI. And I saw this terrible thing on Reddit where, I don't know, I actually have mixed feelings about it, but someone made the first scene of a Brandon Sanderson book, I think like The Way of Kings or something like that. They made it in some AI engine with some freaking NVIDIA chip or whatever. I don't even know. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah, you've seen like the trailers and things that are coming out for stuff. It's crazy.
But they made the first scene of this movie in like a day. Just put it in this AI machine and it came out and it looked awesome, which scared the shit out of me because I was like, oh, so is this the future? In one sense, it's great because there's so much IP out there that might be somewhat niche that someone would be like, I don't know who Brandon Sanderson is, where there's so many fanboys out there who would love to see that. So maybe we'll just get anything we want. We can now see on the big screen or at least on our, home screens. But it also just made me feel really sad for people that are actually like creators and artists and stuff like that, because puppets like Rocky might just be the way of the past, unfortunately, because it looked so good. I thought it really played so well to the characters. So my favorite scene was the Petrova light sequence on Adrian scene when they're collecting.
Okay, so like the action sequence.
Yeah, but it not necessarily when they were fishing. I liked the fishing thing too. I thought that was cool. But and I didn't even see this in IMAX or anything. I'm sure it would have been stunning in IMAX. But just the visuals of that planet, which was super cool looking, and then when they open up the shades or whatever, and all the Petrova material or whatever it is starts flying in, I just thought it was super cool. And I was not under any sort of inebriation outside of the one IPA I had, and I still thought it was a bit trippy. I really, really liked it. I mean, it helps that the music I thought was pretty good throughout too, and especially in that scene. But, you called the Harry Styles song out. Two of Us, one of my favorite Beatles songs is in this. I just thought between the soundtrack of like real music and also like whatever they created, I thought was pretty fun. It almost kind of reminded me of like a little Trent Reznor-y, but I dug it. Love hates. I know we probably talked about a lot of them, but we can kind of go put them into one. Is there anything that you missed on your love or hate situation?
I mean, I think I was a little bit opposite of you. I thought that they took really, really complex and complicated ideas, and within that one scene of him teaching, were able to explain what was going on in like 3 minutes. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. You're literally introducing a new biology, astrophage, how it's impacting the sun, how you have to go to another planet in order to solve, like all those things were just like introduced really quickly, and it's like somehow it was like, oh, it's pretty seamless, makes sense. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself right. I thought that stuff was done really well. More of the day-to-day science stuff that he's doing, that him and Rocky were doing together, whether that be when his thing explodes, because all the astrophages leaking out. I feel like in the book there was a ton more into that, and also when they're breeding the astrophage on the ships, or they're breeding the other things that eat the astrophage. I feel like there's just like a lot of that going on that he and Rocky were doing together that maybe wasn't fully covered. But I do think, and on the whole, just to kind of, I mean, it was already 2 hours and 30 minutes, so I don't need, more explanation of it. I think it was well done. It was just didn't have those details, but that's to be expected because it's a book going into a movie. So I was fine with it.
I also love just tying back into the Rocky thing is they added Carl because they needed a Rocky on Earth you needed a buddy, to like
Yeah,
to
sure.
bounce things off of because
Yeah.
otherwise it just they're like, yeah, we need this guy. And that was a big difference in putting in the book and the movie too. Is in the book, it's almost a surprise when Rocky comes because you just think he's off on his own, and you think it's similar to The Martian, where you're just like, well, just another book about a guy off on his own, and then an alien comes, and you're like, what the hell? Like I did not know this book was about that. So it's like halfway into the book that occurs. Whereas here, it's like, yeah, it's a buddy book with an alien, So or buddy movie with an alien. So yeah,
Yeah, because in the book he was doing a bunch of stuff himself before Rocky.
yeah. And you could tell he was like lonely, and it was almost like savior, coming. So
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I had any other hates. Caroline enjoyed. I think her stock up here was love languages. There's a lot in that physical contact. There's a lot of physical contact between Ryan Gosling and Rocky. Granted, it was like through some glass or whatever, but a lot of hugging. She liked the hugs. She liked the alien and people hugs.
some dance moves, showing off dance moves as well.
Yeah, some dance moves were had. Some I like that part. It was great. And the goodbye was tough. The first goodbye before they actually re-met. It's like, oh God, like losing your best friend, and also like the person that saved you. They're on like they're basically on a life vessel together, like a life raft. And
I had two questions for you. If I don't know if
yeah, sure, yeah, I'd love to.
First question was: is there any chance that this guy we're seeing a guy that thinks he's not funny and not great and not smart? Is there any chance that this is like a Total Recall thing where he actually is all those things? He's just a middle school teacher and he like takes some pill and now he's like saving the world and he's Ryan Gosling and he's funny and he's best looking and all these things.
You think at the end they should have just had him wake up in his bed and just be like, oh, that was just
Well, it's like almost like Fight Club thing is like, if you were trying to think of the Brad Pitt version of a middle school teacher would be, it's this guy, right? Like it's you're literally producing the funniest, smartest, best person ever that's a middle school teacher. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
really.
he was just held on to all this pain from being rejected from his one idea that. Yeah. It's also, it doesn't sound his idea was that you don't need carbon or oxygen, whatever the case was, to make a life form. And yeah, it's a far-out idea, but that's the point, right?
It's kind of ridiculous that he would be ostracized for that, considering there's people in this scientific community that think we're all in a simulation. Isn't that a little bit more unrealistic?
Yeah.
We're not real. Nothing's real. It's all a programmed game. It's like, oh, that's a good point.
We've got quantum physics where matter just appears and disappears. It's like, yeah. So this guy's thinking, isn't that also what science fiction is all about? And I know it's fiction and not science, but you have to have some of that to then get to the science. So like to have outside the box ideas. It's not like laugh this guy out of his profession and make him a middle school teacher, and then he's just like hurt for the rest of his life and can't form relationships.
Yeah,
it seemed a little extreme. But
that's what I thought. That's why I was like, I don't know, something's going on here. But and then the second one was, so in the movie they say that he could actually, they fueled up his ship and he could actually go back. Would you go back? Like, I don't know. I think the flight back would be like 10 years by yourself.
So I was confused. They had his ship ready to go. Did he go back or did he not go back?
He was still deciding that, but you could tell he's happy with teaching the kids. My assumption would be he wouldn't, but in the book, he's stuck there, so it's not like really an option.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we just take the book out of it, I think he found something on Irid or whatever the place is that he didn't have back home. He clearly didn't have anyone that he was missing necessarily.
Beachfront property too. I mean, you can't find that on Earth these days. That's too expensive.
So yeah, and the kids obviously love the shit out of him. He did, so that itch that he had back home was being scratched here. So yeah, maybe not. I mean, I don't know what kind of relations he's having or whatnot, but pretty hard to do a rock, but
between a rock and a hard place, if you know what I mean, guys.
So yeah. With that, we can end the pod.
Yeah.
Actually, the one thing I did have, and this is more of a Easter egg or something, but when they were going through the Rocky voices, the guy who did the audiobook, which is great, he was really good. He was one of the voices that they went through that they were like, nah, I don't think so. All right, Keith, out of 5, out of 5, what are you giving this one?
Yeah, I think this is a rare one where the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. So usually it's the opposite. I think I'm going to give it a 4.33 out of 5. So not the 4.5 range. I think that's an elite company, but definitely better than a 4.25. So in between.
Wow.
4 and 1/3. What about you?
Well, it's always tough math because I usually do things out of 4 on my own personal movie things, but we have to go to 5 here. So the wife gave it a 3.5 to 3.75. And I kind of started lower, but I think I'm going to go up to a similar range. So I think I would go, especially after talking about it, I think I would go 3.5, 3.75. And the thing that defined that
out of 5?
Out of 5, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that defined that for me, which I liked it for sure. That means it's good. That means it's good for me. The thing that bumped it up a little bit was kind of like the would you watch this again? And the answer is yes. You know, if it came out on streaming services, I'd be like, hey, you want to watch that Project Hail Mary again? Because I miss these guys. They were fun together. I miss them. They had a great relationship.
I feel like I watch a lot of movies that are just so average that this actually was different. It didn't insist upon itself. It wasn't a superhero movie, even though it kind of at times it was a little bit. So yeah, I think you got to almost boost it up because of that.
Okay. Well, Project Hail Mary, we've now done the movie and the book. Props to us. What do we have coming up next?
1984 book, even though you said you have no notes on it, but
I got all the notes. Don't worry. I got the notes. I'm also going to watch the movie. There was a movie that came out in 1984 about 1984.
They should make a new movie on that, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. But John Hurt plays the main character in the book. So he plays the bad guy in V for Vendetta, which is kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, we'll do that. Big Brother is coming for you. And yeah, we'll catch you for 1984.
Indeed.
All right.
Alrighty.
Bye now.
Bye now.